David.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
No ways.
David, nice to meet you.
Ça va bien? Vous êtes les derniers. On vous attendait. We were expecting you.
Yes.
Last but not least, is it?
Last but not least, we're here.
Excellent. You had a good night?
Oh, yes.
We had a fantastic night. Thinking of you.
Great.
When are they coming back? Okay, so you're in business.
Est-ce que vous voulez que je dise des conseils en français ou en anglais? Anglais. Each team has 20 minutes to present its case to the judges. I will show a board for 10, 5, and the last 2 minutes, and the last 30 seconds of the presentation. During the last 10 seconds of the speech, I will indicate by the means of my 2 hands the number of remaining seconds. A team not having ended in presentation after 20 minutes will be stopped to move on to the period of questions. A period of question of a maximal duration of 5 minutes, followed by a period of comments of a maximal duration of 5 minutes, are assigned to the jury at the end of the presentation. I would like to remind to each judge it's mandatory to ask at least one question during this period. I will invite the judges to introduce themselves, and then you can proceed.
Introduce yourself.
Sorry.
Romain, hello.
My name is Romain Perrin. I'm in charge of digital performance for BRP.
Hello, I'm Vera Merkeshow and I'm the independent consultant.
Christophe Robert, Global CRM and Market Intelligence Director at BRP, and I'm finished.
I'm David de Grandpré. I'm leading the CRM practice for Deloitte Digital.
José Vaillancourt, account manager at Mosaic.
I'm Shania Drapeau and I'm a brand strategic director at Les Mauvais Garçons.
We started our story by describing to you that society has become like a concrete jungle. In that concrete jungle, there are little cracks. These cracks represent cravings for adventure. We are here today to shatter those cracks and bring the adventure to everyday people. We plan to make this message pop by allowing the consumers to see, feel, and experience the adventure that is out there waiting for them. Now, in our previous presentation, we presented you with the kernel method. Today, we will be talking about the corn method. This includes our core mandate, our objectives, our recommendations, and our next step. I would like to pass it on to Chris, who will talk about the key mandates.
Thank you very much, Anne. So looking at our key mandate for BRP today, we're looking to create a forward-thinking digital campaign that brings out your inner adventure and crave for an experience using Can-Am vehicles.
Donc, on va repasser un peu les éléments clés qu'on a passés dans l'autre présentation. Donc, on va augmenter la notoriété de la marque. Donc, on va essayer de rentrer ça dans notre stratégie. Par la suite, prioriser l'expérience client au-dessus de celle du produit. Donc, vraiment donner une expérience, comme Anna l'a dit. Donc, on veut les faire sentir et expérimenter aussi l'expérience du terrain. Et finalement, augmenter les ventes de 10 %, ce qui viendrait avec nos publicités qu'on incorporerait ici.
So when we think of the Maize mindset, we talked about it beforehand and we gave you the 5 main aspects of it, which was being mindful of our environment, adaptive to any situation you may have currently, insightful with our industry analysis that we had before, and now we had those first 3, but now we gotta add that zesty and that aesthetic. And that's what we are here to show you today, how we implemented those first 3 to you in the first presentation, but now we wanna show you how zesty we are and aesthetic we are. So let's get started.
For the consumer analysis, I would like to remind you of our 3 key points. Number 1, we need an all-encompassing marketing strategy to really hit all 3 of those target markets. Number 2, we are looking to create digital ads that are visually appealing and engage all of our consumers. Lastly, we are looking to break the stereotypes and the labels, and we will be showing you how we do this in our media purchase strategy.
When we look at the positioning map, like I said before in the first presentation, we see that Can-Am is at a certain angle of in between 2 different other companies. That's not what you want. You want to be the front runner like you've always been. You want to be that first thing that comes to mind when they think of ATVs, 4-wheelers, anything that comes to the outdoors, they want to think of you first. And that's why with our solution, you could be moving up there just by moving towards digital rather than having print and other items.
So how we're going to be positioning Can-Am is that we are going to be targeting the young and middle-aged who are seeking adventure, to add adventure to their daily lives. And so with our ad campaign that we've designed for you guys today, we'll be looking at making sure that the young and middle-aged are really well established in understanding and attracted by the visual marks of our campaign.
So let's move on to recommendation. And now it's where we present our campaign.
This would be a sample of the digital ads that we would present in Canada. Now, as you can see, we are using the I am and I can statement. For example, I am a student, but I can be a master of the outdoors. I am a family man, but I can be fun. Now, the reason why we're showing you these two different age categories is to show you how all-encompassing our marketing campaign is. Additionally, we will be using these digital ads on social media. This would be an example of a Facebook ad that we could include on Facebook. So as you can see, you can like, you can comment, and this would be how we would promote these digital ads to Canadians. Now, we don't want to just focus on Canadians. We would like to take it one step further and make it pop by introducing it to the international audience. So these are some sample I am and I can phrases that we can use in a variety of different countries. Now, as we promised you earlier, we would like to introduce these ads in 4 different languages: Japanese, Spanish, France, and German. And I'd like to help you understand this by asking my colleagues to translate these sentences for you. Let's start with Japan, with MC.
Donc, dans le fond, avec mon petit knowledge de japonais, j'ai appris cette phrase-là qui veut dire, en fond, I'm preppy, but I can be an athlete. So, watashi wa peridetsu, watashi wa wasaritsu, ni nora dekado no katitsu.
I will be taking over for the German message. So I'm talking about how I am old, but I can be young at heart. Ich bin alt, and ich kann jung im Herzen. Sarai?
And I'll be taking over the Spanish because we want to showcase that overall our campaign is about the human experience, and that's the consumer experience when they think of your product. So for in Spanish, it'd be, soy una mujer de negocios, pero puedo romper los estereotipos. I am a businesswoman, but I break the stereotypes. I like ATVs. A lot of women don't. That's why I break the stereotype.
And I'm going to bring it back to Canada, but as well show you that it's diverse to the international market in France as well, as je suis une chef et je peux être un testeur de goût pour l'aventure. And so I'm a chef and can be a taste tester for adventure as well.
We think that this strategy will really pop to consumers because number 1, it is adaptable. It can be used in any country as we've presented to you. And number 2, it allows the consumer to break stereotypes and labels that have been given to them, which we think will really make the message pop to them and really attract them to your business. So these would be examples of ads that we have created. So as you can see, for the top ad, we have a student typing on her laptop, but then she's riding the ATV. This is a sample of an ad that we can use in Germany. So we have the elderly woman, she's shopping, but then she's also riding on the ATV. So once again, I'd like to reiterate, this is adaptable, this can be used in different languages, and this enables the consumer to break the stereotypes and break the labels.
Donc, dans le fond, on a pensé aussi faire une campagne vidéo qui serait donnée sur YouTube, sur les télévisions, dans le fond, un peu partout où est-ce qu'on peut publier des vidéos. Donc ici, vous avez un petit storyboard de qu'est-ce qui se passerait. Donc, on va encore utiliser le I am, but I can. Donc, dans le fond, ça, c'est vraiment pour démontrer encore que je suis quelque chose, mais je peux être totalement autre chose. Donc, ici, on pourrait voir, par exemple, la première image, c'est une personne qui dit « I am a businesswoman ». Et après ça, « I am a teacher ». I am a lawyer, I am a police officer. Donc, on a pris vraiment des personnes de tous les jours que les personnes peuvent se relier dans la vie de tous les jours. Et par la suite, on aurait avec un arrière-plan plus de montagne et qui est plus avec les ATV et les 4 roues, qui dirait « But I can be reckless, I can break stereotypes », dépendamment pour chaque personne. On a trouvé vraiment une chanson qui allait avec le vidéo. Donc, la chanson s'appelle « Fire ». On s'est relié à ça parce que on s'est dit I have a fire inside of me. Donc, c'est quelque chose qu'on veut briser les stéréotypes encore une fois. Donc, ça brûle en dedans de toi. Tu veux être aventureux, tu veux être extrême. Donc, on veut utiliser le produit Can-Am dans ce sens-là. Donc, on a un petit extrait de la chanson. Donc, dans le fond, la chanson en général, ça dit vraiment qu'est-ce que je viens de dire. Donc, I have something burning inside of me. I have the fire. I am able to do anything that I want, even though that I am something else in general.
And then when the bass drops, that's when we really start to bring out the inner adventure and the outdoor loving that people can experience with Can-Am products.
And the last thing that they'll see in the message is do both with Can-Am. That you can be that one persona with you, but you can also be that adventure in your heart. When we take a look at several digital media strategies, we always look at doing design art, doing arts for Facebook, social media. But what if you gave the consumers that first-hand experience using your product? I'm not saying that you have to invite all of the consumers to do a test ride, but why don't they do that at their own home? That's when virtual reality comes in. We are lucky enough to live in a society where virtual reality is a thing, and it is possible for the daily consumer to use it. A lot of virtual reality videos have appeared now on YouTube. What a better marketplace, what a better area to be able to showcase ATV riding on your ATV with that product and showcasing the consumer of what they could be experiencing when they think of your product. If you see this through the 3D eyeglasses, you see an ATV. That's pretty cool. For someone who lives in the city, who has never ridden an ATV, for example, that experience is firsthand the best experience you can feel. And then you want to feel that, and you'll first probably try to go on a vacation and try to experience that ATV. But there are the few people who are like, you know what? I'm going to get an ATV because it seems like a pretty cool idea. There are people like that because they want to get out of the mold. They want to break that stereotype of being that city folk that works a 9-to-5 job. They want to experience this virtual reality, which will then become a reality if they buy the product.
And so with our investment strategy, we're looking at paying for things from, or displaying these ads all in, on website banners throughout social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as on video sharing sites such as YouTube and Vimeo. With last year, in 2017, BRP made approximately $1.6 billion in sales. Now, the industry average of spending on advertising is about 5 to 10%. And for our ad campaign, we're looking at spending about 2.5% of last year's sales, so approximately $41 million to distribute all of these ads across the internet and get people engaged, whether they're watching videos on YouTube or scrolling through their social media feeds. And so looking at our distribution of how we're going to be paying for these, a lot of the video ads will account for about 45% of the $41 million. This takes into account that renting or using 360-degree cameras are a little bit more expensive than standard cameras, but really give a more popping experience to customers and to clients when they're watching these ads just before the main videos that they're looking at. On social media sites like, or on video sharing sites such as YouTube, when advertisements happen before the actual video they're looking to watch, sometimes you really only have about 5 to 10 seconds. And so with these, with the options of having 360-degree videos embedded in the ads, really attracts the client to maybe, instead of skipping the ad, continue and experience the full ride that, that Can-Am has to offer for them. Next, we have social media ads, which will account for about 30% of the spending. This includes paying for views on social media sites like Facebook, posting videos and experiences of Canada's outdoors or of the international locations where you can use Can-Am products as well. And we're using those on the different social media platforms. Website ads are a bit cheaper and least cost expensive, but still give a great return in terms of views. And if we can make these dynamic ads that will show the people changing from I am, so I can, we'll be able to really attract people's visual gaze to the ads on the sidebars of websites. And so looking at the exposure and reach that these ad campaigns can use, doing a digital campaign, we know that about 81% of Americans and Canadians have access to the internet. Most people will use it to look at checking the weather daily, looking for the latest news, if people are keeping up with politics. And those are some of the things that, those are some of the websites that we're looking at targeting to really show people that, yes, you might just look at the weather every day, but it's perfect weather for riding a Can-Am 4x4 or bringing out a partner on a side-by-side to enjoy the natural beauty that Quebec and Canada has to offer in their local regions. Digital campaigns do have a flaw though, where they are limited to those who use the internet. However, 81% and over 263 million people have the access already to the internet, and Canadians even have much more access to the internet, even though we're spread out more, we're more sparsely populated, where about 92% have reach in, by internet. Diversifying our exposure as well through different social media, using analytics to see which sites are hitting, which advertisements as well are really clicking with customers, will help us tailor a lot of the ad campaigns that we're doing towards where we can get the most impact from it. And so using a variety of websites such as Weather Network or the weather.com for people who are checking weather, whether it's Bloomberg Pursuits for those in the finance industry or in business. Bloomberg Pursuits has great articles, and often people are looking for what they can do on their weekends and where they can spend their hard-earned money. And as well as other sites like cooking recipe sites as well. We can make sure that people who are researching what recipes that are really like family-oriented will have the chance to to experience Can-Am's offer of giving the Canadian outdoors experience to the everyday person.
Donc, dans le fond, une fois, maintenant qu'on a vu un peu les alentours de notre idée, de notre stratégie, on va passer à la ligne du temps. Donc, dans le fond, comme on l'a expliqué un peu la dernière fois, ce serait vraiment la création des publicités. Donc, la création des publicités, ce serait vraiment du 1er au 4e mois, comme on l'a vu la dernière fois. Et vraiment, ça serait la création du vidéo. Toutes les ads qu'on a vues, les faire sur Photoshop et vraiment les accommoder comme vous voulez, selon les régions qu'on va les appliquer ou même les pays. Donc, tout ça avec les services de traduction, par exemple, et tout ce qui s'accorde avec. Donc, filmage des scènes de réalité virtuelle, donc de 2 à 6 mois. Donc, ça serait vraiment filmer, par exemple, quelqu'un qui serait en tout-terrain pour la réalité virtuelle, comme Sarah nous en a parlé tantôt. Pour les médias sociaux, en fait, on commencerait à faire des posts sur Facebook, par exemple, ou tout autre médias sociaux que vous avez accès durant le 7 à 10 mois. Ça serait la même chose, dans le fond, pour le YouTube et le média digital. Donc, dans le fond, on commencerait vraiment à publiciser la nouvelle campagne « I am, but I can do both with Pan-Am » durant ces mois-là, donc de 6 à 10 mois. Et finalement, on ferait l'évaluation des ventes et toute la rétroaction après ça, une fois qu'on aurait terminé, donc du 10e au 12e mois. Donc, cette rétroaction-là, ça permettrait vraiment de faire une analyse de OK, bien, combien de ventes que j'ai fait de plus que l'année d'avant? Est-ce que ça fonctionne vraiment? Qu'est-ce que je dois faire différemment? Donc, c'est vraiment quelque chose d'important à implanter dans une stratégie. Et c'est pour ça qu'on trouvait ça important de le mettre dans notre ligne du temps. Donc, finalement, je vais vous passer sur les éléments clés. Donc, comment ces éléments clés ont été répondus là par notre publicité? Donc, augmenter la notoriété de la marque. Bon, avec notre nouvelle campagne, on change vraiment un peu l'image de la marque, dans le fond, au Can-Am. Ce qui veut dire qu'on donne vraiment une vision de tous les jours. Pas nécessairement juste applicant pour les personnes qui font du VTT tous les jours ou du 4 roues motrices, mais vraiment des personnes dans la ville qui ne seraient pas habituellement approchées ou intéressées par ces véhicules-là. Finalement, prioriser l'expérience client, on a la réalité virtuelle qui approcherait vraiment une expérience différente, mais aussi la manière qu'on approche avec notre campagne, on vise vraiment sur le client lui-même, pas nécessairement le produit. Oui, c'est certain qu'on fait une promotion du produit avec cette approche-là, mais on cherche vraiment à avoir l'expérience pour que quelqu'un dise « OK, bien, je veux avoir un véhicule Can-Am parce que ça a une expérience, parce que ça a un sentiment pour moi. J'ai pas nécessairement une passion pour les VTT, mais vraiment quelque chose comme « Ah, je veux avoir l'expérience, je veux être aventureux, moi aussi je suis capable de briser les stéréotypes. » Et finalement, augmenter les ventes de 10 % avec la stratégie que Chris nous a expliquée. En utilisant un certain montant, on pourrait augmenter les ventes de 10 % des appareils de Can-Am.
So overall, you've seen the different types of ads that we've created. I'm going to tell you the truth. All these ads may not be the typical ads you see in newspapers or magazines or even on social media. They look a bit off. They don't represent usually the typical colors you see with ads. You usually see a blue, a bright blue, and then a dark blue. But the reason why we pick such different colors is because a lot of the times on social media, you just tend to scroll. You just scroll until something catches your eye. And that's what we want to create with our ads. We want to create something that seems unconventional to them on their Facebook feed, on their Instagram feed, on even their Twitter feed. And we want them to stop and pause and be like, I'm a family man, but I can be fun. What are they talking about? Then they see the Can-Am logo, they see the virtual ad. So the way that the virtual ad would work is, and we didn't showcase this properly, but in a way, we have the first ad. And the way that it's interactive to users, it can scroll and it goes to the next image. So it's in a form of showing the consumer that they can see both sides of the person. And in a sense, it provides that aspect of a full range vision of what their daily life looks like and what their adventure life looks like. With the VR reality, we want to showcase that experience doesn't have to do with physical experience. It can be through seeing, through feeling, and like I said, lastly, experience. And those are the three senses that we want to really use in our campaign. Because nowadays people don't see, they see what they see on social media. What they feel is mostly what's on the internet. They don't go out of their way to go to a store and buy an ATV. If they don't see it online, they probably will never buy it unless they need a need for it. And that's what we try to do today with our target market. We try to create that need. We try to create that experience. Because we're not here to sell a product. We're here to sell the experience of riding an ATV. We're here for that experience when the wind's flowing through your hair. Even as a grandmother, you can have just as much fun. With that being said, I'd like to thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. And we can showcase even better with more ads, with further time and more experience. But I'd like to thank you.
See? Good job. You can breathe now. So can we. I'm going to start with the question. We have a new product every 6 months that is launched. In your time frame, you have videos and so on, so it comes quite late to a certain extent. How would you manage that? How would you manage the fact that every 6 months we have new products coming out and videos to release within the time frame you're showing?
So one of the cool things about our creative ad agency is we're very adaptable. That's one of the part of the Maïs effect.
That's great.
And that's one of the main important parts of it. Whether it be a shorter campaign, we can make do, because we always try to figure out a solution, whether it be financially wise, strategic wise, or even photography wise and creative design wise. So that's the way that we do it. We work with you. We would work with you to create that campaign every 6 months, and even then, maybe even that during that 12 months, figure out how to do those 6 months, and we can constantly change, because that's the most amazing part about marketing. You can change it at a moment's notice if need be, but just changing your target market a bit more, or changing the media.
As well, to add to Sarai, we're selling more of the experience here, and so what we're trying to do is create that feeling in clients that they want to get out, get the adventure, and give them a call to action to go visit their local BRP dealer, look at the different vehicles that are available for sale at that time. And so this marketing campaign can work throughout the year between product launches, so that we can make sure that when they're getting that call to action, their call to action to visit the experience and have that experience, we can then have our dealers sell them on whatever the most recent launch is, as well as what fits within their price range and what they're looking for in an experience.
Right.
We have seen some figures, like 300 million people, $41 million. What is your understanding today of our targets? Because it seems to be quite large.
We are targeting quite a wide target market. This is because we have there's lots of possibilities with the densely populated urban regions within the United States, and then even within Canada, we were trying to focus a lot of our ads, while it is more sparsely populated, using a digital marketing campaign. We're able to use the money more efficiently and finding different ways to target each of the different clients that are spread across the region. So with the larger budget, we're able to make sure there's a lot more exposure happening for the same amount that you might pay for like trade shows or different automobile expositions across the states.
I agree with the point. Am I right right if I say that you want to target 300 million people?
300 million people is the total exposure that it would reach. The total amount of people, unique views that we would get with the ad campaigns. The target market that we more focused on within the first presentation as well is that we did narrow it down to those within the 25 to 45 year old range. So according to the latest Statistics Canada census, within Canada, that's we have at least 20 million people just within Canada alone, and then it's larger within the United States.
I have a question. I noticed that it's really nice that you have style that are adaptable to each country, but at some point I was wondering if you consider like the whole brand culture of Canada, which has like a specific strategic positioning, and I was wondering what could be the impact of it if you change style continually, and will we need to have like a PR campaign to bring it back to the strategic positioning? I want some clarification around this.
So the way that we would work with that, again, these are just prototypes. We would work with Can-Am for sure and to create an ad that best represents Can-Am. So whether it be changing the ads a bit more and even making it more to Can-Am's positioning statement, we would for sure do that. But we just want to give you an idea of what mostly we saw in ads in other countries. So in Germany, they like these certain colors and they like this more vintage type ad. But we would work with Can-Am to make it as Can-Am as possible, but still having those little aspects of international ads.
Comments?
Well, I have other questions.
Finish with questions or?
You have 30 seconds.
I have 30 seconds. I haven't seen community in what you're displaying. Is there any thought about that?
Community in terms of viewership or?
How do you create community? Do you create communities in your campaigns?
Donc, dans le fond, avec nos vidéos, I am, I can do both with Can-Am. Dans le fond, on créerait vraiment une communauté de personnes qui se rassembleraient. Donc, une loyauté, dans le fond, pour la marque Can-Am. Donc, dans le fond, ce que ça donnerait, c'est que ça rassemblerait les gens envers cette publicité-là et que ça leur permettrait vraiment de voir, OK, ben moi aussi, je peux briser les stéréotypes. Fait que dans le fond, on veut donner une nouvelle vision d'une communauté, si on peut dire, de Can-Am, pas nécessairement juste les personnes, comme si on peut dire un peu plus redneck, si je peux utiliser le terme. Là. Mais dans le fond, si on veut juste ouvrir une nouvelle vision, on ne veut pas nécessairement changer non plus la communauté qu'il y a déjà avec Can-Am. On veut quand même garder nos participants qui sont loyaux en ce moment aussi.
And in terms of creating community, we'd be using social media such as Facebook groups, which when they see the ad, they have the opportunity to join a group as well. So a lot of times we're working with the pages of creating a Can-Am page that we already have, creating that aspect of community. You can click on the group, see the different areas and locations, so whether it be in North America, in Europe, or even Asia, you have the option to join those groups where you can ask, it's almost a forum of questions, where people can ask questions.
Okay, thanks.
Here for the comments now.
Am I right to say that your campaign is about targeting non-typical Can-Am client? Okay. When the client asks a question about new product, you stick to your idea and you don't change your mind by saying we'll adapt the campaign. Okay.
Yes, because you had sincerely direct feedback. We saw it yesterday. It was great. Today it's still very clear where you want to go and so on. I agree to that. Don't change. No, but because we want people with an opinion, it's great. That's not a problem. The globalization was there, and it's great. I think you're one of the only group that is showing that today, so that's good. It's something very specific, and I think you treated that well, except for the German mistake. But it's okay. We speak German, you know that. So the I am, I can. I think there's plenty of things, and the visuals that you provided, I really like that because there's a real story behind that. So to my personal view, that's probably the highest point, is really to be able to have something that describes two realities for urban people. So that was the main interesting point for me.
For me, if I can go with what he's saying, actually, it's kind of I'm not completely in agreement with this because I think that the social statement, and sometimes I was getting confused because you were saying I am, I can. It felt really positive at the beginning of like, I am a master at outdoors and everything, and then we switched to like, but. So I am a father, but I am fun, and I am girl, and I break stereotypes, and that part of it, you kind of lost me there because it was too socially stated, And I was thinking about a PR campaign to make it a gist, and then people will comment on it, and that's something we want to avoid. So I would have stick to the positive things of like, I could do both, not just like be fun, but you know, it was, so I would try to focus on that. And the execution of the creative, I get that we understood the concept better, but still you really moved away from the brand culture itself. So I was like I was trying to position it with Can-Am, but then it was a little messy around, so maybe it was too further global to make sure that Can-Am was still there. I couldn't feel like the essence of it, I was losing it. So that would be my primary regarding creative work. I don't know if you guys want to comment.
I have one last one. So can you come here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. You all have legs. So I'll just show you. Go and sit on my place.
No.
That's
We
me
are
talking behind the
Yes.
screen. Okay. That's me coming to convince people I'm talking to.
So don't hide. You don't have to.
Because you're all very good presenters.
Yes.
So just don't. You're not Lego figurines. You have legs. Use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, overall, great job. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the comments and feedback as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.